Now let us try to understand these conditional executions in a bit more detail. I mean, why this ampersand symbol and what is happening because of it. Now see, when you give these two double ampersand symbols, it means that the particular condition will be executed only and only when both of the conditions are true. Okay. If none of the condition is true, then this will not be executed. And remember, the same thing will apply even if you have 4 conditions or 5 conditions. It just doesn't matter how many conditions you have. So let's take enter 4th number, save it into D, and we can do that also. So if A is greater than B and greater than C and A is greater than D, then A is largest. For other variables, how will you do it? If A is or B is greater than A and B is greater than C and B is greater than D, then B is largest. In the same way, you will try out a program where you will try to find out the largest and smallest number. How will you check the smallest number? That time you will just give these corrections like this. If A less than B and A less than C and A less than D. I'm not going to solve these simple programs for you because I am pretty confident that you will be able to do it after the sample codes are given. So I'll just save this file as if condition smallest. Then this is for B, B less than A, B less than C and B less than D. Here B is smallest and here A is smallest. Create the entire program for 4 numbers, finding the largest and finding the smallest. You will decide how many if conditions that you're going to need. Now I'll save this program again. If conditions and is done. Now let's see how we do ORing in if condition. Now what do you mean by ORing? ORing means we check whether one of the 2 conditions is true. So if one of the 2 conditions is true, we execute that particular loop. How it goes? See. If A is greater than B, this double mark, this is something that you will find on keyboard with backward slash key. So if you press shift and backward slash, you will get this character. So if A is greater than B or A is greater than 100, then this program will execute. So program is printf A is either greater than B or 100 or both. Remember, both condition can also be true because we don't even bother about it. If the first condition is true, the code will be executed. The second is not needed to be checked. It may be true, it may be false. If the first condition is not true, then second condition will be checked, and if the second condition is true, then the code will be executed. So one of the 2 conditions should be met. Let's try to give it a spin. So build and run. A is 585, B is 999. You can see A is not greater than B here, but it is greater than 100. So okay. 3rd and 4th number also we have to give. So A is either greater than B or 100 or both. Now it's not greater than or the both condition is not true here, but that's what we want to print because we don't exactly know which condition among them is true or false. The beauty with this thing is you can also combine the OR and AND conditions. What I mean to say is, if A is greater than B or A is greater than 100, and if you want, you can AND this with some other condition. For example, let me give you a problem statement. The problem statement is, please check if A is greater than B or 100 and A is greater than D. So I want result in a single line, okay? A should be greater than B or 100 and A is greater than D, or A must be greater than D. So what I want to do is A should be greater than B or 100 and it should be greater than D for sure. So A should be greater than 100 or B, and it must be greater than D. Then print this. Let's say some number, we did it. Now to go with it, see what is the condition. You can write it in multiple ways. One way is if A is greater than D, means only if A is greater than D, then only your program will execute. And then here you can check if A is greater than B or 100. Getting it? So the must condition is checked first, and then we are checking for this condition. Another much smarter way to do is if, now give it another bracket, if A is greater than B or A is greater than 100 and A is greater than D. So you will have to perform this kind of mix and matches many times in embedded systems. Let me write it here again. And remember, everything is about trials, okay? Unless you don't give it a try, you're not going to understand it. Now let's try to find the meaning of this condition. This condition is what? It is true, or it will return true if A is greater than B or A is greater than 100. In one of the two conditions, this will return true. If it doesn't, then this condition will return false. The next condition is and A is greater than D. So globally speaking, for this if loop, if this condition and this condition, both of them are true, then only this will be executed. And it can go false if A is not less than, or if A is not greater than D, if A is less than B and A is also less than 100. I hope you are getting what I am saying here. Otherwise it's becoming too monotonous, but I hope you're getting the point. We did it. Now for this sample, what we'll do is, we'll put A as 100, we'll put B as 10. So this condition is true, A is greater than B. But it is not greater than 100, still this is true. And let's put D as 5. C is not needed for now, so let's comment it for now. So these are the conditions which should be making this code execute. And else, just a minute, print F. We made it false, okay, something like that. So if D is 6, then this will be true. If D is 600 or even 60, then this will be false and this will execute. Let's try. So let's give the first value of A to be 50, B to be 20, C to be 6. We did it, right? So all the conditions are true. If I rerun it again, A is 50, B is 10, C is 60. We made it false. Now this is false because of the second condition. You can also make it false out of first condition. How? Let's give A as smaller number. So 50A, B is 60. So A is neither greater than B, neither greater than 100. Actually D will be smaller. We made it false. Why? Because the first two conditions, both of them are returning negative or false. That's why this whole if loop collapsed and else will be executed. Now I hope, and I really hope, that this is not clear to you. It will not become clear to you until you try this code. So look for the name of the code, if conditions are, and then try to make use of this code and try to understand it. Thank you for watching this video.